Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a review of some new Pixi products. They sent me 2 new face palettes they launched and 2 eyeshadow palettes, and I have to be honest, these are the first makeup items they've launched in quite some time that I've kind of made me turn my head. So I'm really excited to talk about them here today. Gonna swatch them, talk about them, review them. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first, I want to talk about the face palettes. Actually, first I want to talk about packaging. So, not to start negatively, but the one downside for these is that they all look the same. The eyeshadows, the face palettes, between each of the, I like to be able to kind of know what I am getting into when I reach for a product, and this, without having to look at the back, there's no like special colorful indicator, easy to see indicator aside from the printed names on the back to understand what you're really reaching for, and so I do wish they would have distinguished between them because it has been just confusing for me in the past few days that I've been using these when I pick one up, not really knowing what I'm going to expect until I open it. But let's talk about the face palettes. These are the face palettes, yeah? Yes, they are. So these face palettes are really blush palettes, which I can't resist. There is the more vibrant and pink-leaning palette called the Sugar Blossom palette, and then on the other end you have the Honey Nectar palette, which is softer and more peachy and more gold. What I love about these is that you get 2 satin finished blushes. Really, they come off more as matte on the skin, I think, but in the pan they have a sort of satiny finish to them, and I think that makes them very forgiving on the skin because sometimes matte formulas can be a little patchy, a little chalky, so they just give the skin a soft, very natural looking glow, but really are practically matte shades. Then you have the highlighters, which can basically transform any of these blush shades into a glowy blush shade, or you can use it as a highlighter like I have today. Today I'm actually wearing the Sugar Blossom palette, and I used the kind of like cool mauve taupe as almost like a sculpting shade. I used it towards the back of my cheekbones, under my cheekbone, and then I went in with the pop of pink closer to the apples of my cheeks, and then I just used both the highlight shades in here to highlight where I typically would. What you could do instead is just run your brush through a couple of these things at the same time and apply it just like you would your blush for an effect that would be very similar to something like the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy face palette, which is one of my all-time favorite face products, period, but especially a blush palette because I love the glow, the lit from within healthy glow that shimmery or glow illuminating blushes can have on the skin without accentuating the texture on the skin. I mean, my skin is not perfect right now. I have some definite texture and breakouts here, but the highlight is so finely milled in these, the shimmer, that it really just looks like this beautiful lit from within healthy glow on the skin. And so that is the effect that you can get should you want to combine these in any sort of way to create a glowy looking blush. I think the color palettes here are really beautiful, and in separating the colors and the finishes here, you have quite a few different combinations that you could get out of just one of these palettes. So I really love these cute little blush quads. Then there are the eyeshadow palettes, and first I want to talk about the Hazelnut Haze palette, which I know the second I open this, a lot of you are going to roll your eyes and say, another warm brown toned palette with the coppers and the bronzes. Yes, but it's really pretty. And it's not as warm as you might think. You have these orangey terracotta shades here. One is more of that satiny matte shade similar to the blush. Then there is the shimmery version with a gold fleck in it. You get this super interesting, kind of looks like it doesn't even belong in this palette because it's like a cool gray, sort of gray gold base with a gold shift to it. It's a really interesting color that I love in this palette, as well as some toned down, and by toned down I mean like cooler leaning browns. So even though this I think looks overwhelmingly warm, you look at this here in the corner, that's kind of a cool brown. This, well, that's a pretty warm brown, and then you get the cooler dark brown down here in the corner, and yes, it might look predictable, and even after seeing swatches of me telling you this, you probably are like, move on already, seen it, done it, own it many times over again. The textures and the colors are really beautiful in here. So to the extent you are intrigued by any of these shades or the combination of them all, it is a really nice palette. But I will move on to the next palette, which is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and it's called the Rosette Ray Palette. And it, as the name suggests, is more of a rose/berry combination of shades. And what I like about both of these palettes actually is the combination of textures. There's nothing too revolutionary about them. It's not like a Pat McGrath palette where you get ultra matte mattes and then these crazy shimmery shifty colors, but the textures that are in here are really beautiful. So like in the Rosette Ray, you get 5 of those satiny matte shades kind of here around the side and the bottom, and then the 4 ultra shimmery highlight shades. And they all just complement each other really nicely, both in terms of coloring and texture. So today on my eyes, I went in with the soft pink in my crease to start, then 1 shade down into that plum. I pat that on my outer corner, kind of created a halo effect on my outer corner, inner corner, connected it through my crease. Then I deepened up those corners with this bottom corner, like maroon shade in here, just really patting that in to add a little bit more drama in my corners. And then in the center of my lid, I went in with the center shade in this palette, which is a really pretty mid-tone, cool taupe shade. Pat that in the center of my lid and then went in to highlight my inner corner with the frosty champagne sort of gold in the top center shade. Overall, like I said, the textures in here aren't revolutionary. The color combinations here are nothing we haven't seen before, but the quality really is there. And that, I think, and besides that all the shades are very complementary with each other and both strike me as being really pretty palettes for fall and winter. And so I think just between all of that, all of these 4 palettes really caught my eye. The eyeshadow palettes I would probably put second to the face palettes, but that is probably also because I can't get enough of shimmery illuminated blush. And I love, again, the fact that you can pick and choose the textures you want from this on a day-to-day basis. Like if you don't want a shimmery blush every day, you don't have to have it. But if you want to play around and mix and match, you do have that opportunity with just 4 shades in here. So yeah, I really like all of these products from Pixi. I'm really excited to see this kind of stuff from them because it's been a while since I feel like we have. And in general, I don't know that it's a brand that we hear all that much about quite like we used to, at least in terms of makeup. Maybe more so with the skincare, but I don't know. What do you think? Am I just missing out on the Pixi trend and it's out there and I just don't know about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. So that's it, guys. I really hope this video was helpful, or if you just came here for the swatches, I hope you enjoyed those as well. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.